Mahesh, you have a new movie coming out in 2 days, and we've had to literally tear you away for this because you've already started shooting your next film. How does one focus on a new character, a new story, when you haven't got the last one out of the system yet?
I've never done that in my career till now. This is the first time I'm doing it because Spider got delayed a bit and my entire team was waiting for me for a long time.
Yeah.
So it helped because I've worked with the director before. It's the same director of my Srimanthadu.
That's right.
So I know the team, and so it was a little easy. But I've never done that. It's a new experience for me because Spider is still in my system.
Right. Mahesh, what's the mood like just days before a new film's coming out? Is it excitement? Is it anxiety?
There are no nails left
Really?
anymore.
I mean, you've been working for 18 years. You've made 23 films. You were a child artist. Do you still get butterflies in the
No
stomach?
matter how many years you work and no matter how many years you're there in the industry, when your film is up for release, that excitement, every actor will feel that. If he says he's very cool and calm, don't believe him. Don't ever believe him. Because I think, you know, there are so many aspects which go into the film. There are so many people who work for the film. There are so many experiences you have of the film that you want that film to work from the bottom of your heart.
Right.
And when you know that you have a good film, the excitement which goes into your whole system is something which I can't explain.
Sure.
And you're waiting for that audience reaction. There are a lot of things happening, and it's an amazing feeling.
Is it just excitement? Is there also anxiety? What's really...
With a film like Spider, there's more excitement now.
Sure.
It's my biggest film, and working with A.R.MURUGADOSS has been a long cherished dream which I had.
Right.
And so I'm really waiting with excitement.
You know, I watched an interview recently in which they asked Dhanush, the Tamil actor, if he was asked to choose, if he could pick, if he could either be the #1 star or be the most respected actor, what would he pick? And he said, I want to be the biggest star. Now, Mahesh, you are the big, massive star of Telugu cinema. There is this expectation, this pressure on you to repeatedly deliver big box office numbers, to deliver those huge openings, both here and in the overseas, where, of course, you're a massive star. Is it hard to top that, to find those credible films that also stretch you as an actor, you know, to find those films that will also get you great reviews from the critics? Is it hard to find films that tick all the boxes?
It's the most difficult thing, if you ask me. It's very, very hard. And so you just have to keep your fingers crossed and depend on the judgment, what kind of films you choose. And so it's, like, especially for a South film, the stakes, the budgets are so high that the error of judgment is literally not there. You have to strike it at the box office. There's no other option available. And so yeah, you have to go with that gut feeling, and I'm happy that a film like Spider has come across, because just because it has a director like A.R.MURUGADOSS. Today he's a pan-India director.
Right.
And when we decided to make a film together, and when he narrated the script to me, we knew the budget of Spider was going to be huge. And that's why we did it as a bilingual,
right,
so that it meets the budgets. And today, after seeing the film, I mean, I'm really excited.
You know, I ask you this question because in Bollywood, what's happening, certainly this year, what's happened lately, is that the audience has rejected anything that isn't, you know, that haven't delivered on novelty or quality. Many of those films are films with top stars, seemingly unshakable stars. More of the same won't do. The audience has become very discerning. Do you see the same thing happening in Telugu cinema as well?
I think it's happened post-Bahubali, to be honest with you, because the audience now, they want to see something on screen which is more value than their money. You know, if he's spending so much of money, he wants to see that on screen. He's not going to see rubbish anymore, I feel. That's what Bahubali did. They want that movie experience. They want that experience. They want to feel that experience. And it's good in a way. And
the big cinematic experience.
The big cinematic experience is very good. So I can say it confidently because after Bahubali from the South, our Spider is going to be like that. You know,
right,
that big cinema experience. That's what we are promising to deliver.
Does that kind of, what does that do to the cinema that's not necessarily big event cinema? You know, the character-driven films, are those going to be hard to make going ahead?
Not really. Even they are doing brilliantly well. I've seen Hindi medium.
Right.
I thought it was brilliant,
It
the
was.
film. So even films like that. In fact, most of the content-driven films in Hindi are working
True,
big time
true.
these days. So there is an audience for that also, and there is an audience for, but from the big stars, I think they expect big films.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because especially the weekend, what happens on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they sell tickets at 700, 800, 900,000 rupees.
Correct.
And if you don't satisfy them, they're going to rip you off, I feel.
Does that put a lot of pressure? Do you feel that
It's
pressure?
a challenge more than a pressure, and you have to be up for the challenge. And so, yeah,
Do you ever have sleepless nights?
I've not slept for the past 10 days.
Are there just numbers floating in your head?
It's not numbers, it's, I don't get into the numbers aspect at all. I mean, that can drive you crazy
Yeah.
if you can get into the numbers.
Yeah.
That's up to the distributors and the producers. That's not the job of an actor.
Right.
But you know, when your film is up for release, and it's like when you know that you've done a good job,
Yeah.
and how they're going to accept it, and how
Right.
they're
You just don't want to leave any stone unturned.
any
in making
stone
sure.
unturned. So you know, all those excitements, and when your director calls you saying the background scores come out like this, the
Right.
VFX are amazing, and when somebody else from the team says, you know, this is amazing. So all that, you know, you just get a lot of excitement in your head.
Right. Let's talk about Spider. It's your first true bilingual in the sense that you've dubbed for it yourself in
Yes.
Tamil as well. It's also your first film with A.R.MURUGADOSS, and it seems like there's this mutual admiration society going on because you've said that you waited 10 years to work with him. He said that every director should at least get an opportunity once in their lives to work with Mahesh Babu. So then I take it that it was a very happy experience.
Like
making this movie.
when I remember during Pokeri, when
That's
I was
right.
shooting, he met me during the shoot, and then he said he wants to work with me. Even I wanted to work with him. And then somehow it didn't happen. He got busy, and then he did Gajini in Hindi, and I was busy with my work, and then somehow our dates didn't match. And like 2 years ago, I was in Chennai for an event, and he met me, and he said, "So what's your dates for the next 8 months? Are you free?" I said, "I'll make it free for you. Don't worry."
Right.
So we need to work, and then after 2 months, he narrated Spider, and I was very excited when I heard the story immediately. It was, if you notice, Murugadoss has two kind of, you know, his narrations are there always. One is a very message-oriented
Right.
films he makes,
Correct.
like Katti and Ramana.
Yeah.
And the other films Murugadoss sir makes is Tupaki and Gajini, the
That's right.
stylized action genre
correct.
kind of films. So Spider falls in the action genre kind of films.
It's a spy thriller?
I wouldn't say it's a typical James Bond kind of a spy thriller, but it's got its elements in it. It's a
Right.
typical A.R. Murugadoss kind of film,
Right.
where the audience will be sitting at the edge of the seat. The length of the film is 2 hours 20 minutes,
Okay.
and it's going to be amazing.
Okay. You know, he of course is. It's right. He's one of the best directors when it comes to action. I read, in fact, that while shooting the climax of this film in Vietnam, it was such a physically draining experience for you that it took you about a week after that to just come out of it. You were just
No,
exhausted.
yeah, it wasn't the climax. It was
Okay.
one of the
One of the
action.
sequences. Okay.
It was a roller coaster action sequence.
Ah.
So when he narrated that, I was like, "How are you going to shoot it?" I mean, there's a fight going to happen in a roller coaster where the hero and the villain fall in it.
Right.
The roller coaster takes off, and in that entire ride, the fight takes place. I was like, "Okay, but I don't know
It
how."
sounds
you're
good
gonna-
on paper. How are you going to do it?
So I had my doubts, but then Peter Hain, the action director, he's one amazing character. Whatever you tell him, whatever your imagination is, he takes it up as a challenge. He comes up with an idea. With an idea. So we went to Vietnam, shot that, came to Chennai, put the entire set in a green screen, shot it again, and it was one of the most difficult sequences I ever shot in my career. So you would go up, and then they were just master takes. So that whole thing would rotate like for 3 minutes.
Right.
And we had harnesses, but then psychologically you just end up catching that thing so tight.
Right.
And then at the end of the take, my arms were not working, and you would just end up like you're going to throw up. You would sit down for 2 minutes. So it went on for 10 days. But today when I see it on screen, I mean,
It's
the
worth
effect
it.
it's worth it.
But they allow you to do it. They don't insist that a dupe has to do it.
They can, but what's the fun in that? I
Yeah.
mean, you need to give that experience, and as an actor, you need to do that.
Sure.
And the safety was there, absolutely.
Right. Mahesh, does action get harder with age?
It does. You know, your body doesn't cooperate. It's like how it does 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And for Spider, it was very difficult, very intense, because I ended up injuring my knee.
Wow.
And the doctor said I needed surgery and stuff like that. But then I can't keep the crew waiting for 3 months, 4 months. So we had a physiotherapist on set taking care of everything. So it gets tough.